It's National Pie Day. The math, not the food. Ain't that sexy? Run It Back starts now.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up.
National Pie Day, guys. Did you hear what I said? The math. Who's excited? Raise your hand. Okay, that's great. I knew Chandler had my back. I would like to introduce everybody this morning. Stadium Insider, Shams Charania, Chandler P, Eddie G. Guys, we had a game. A big game. Could have been a bigger game, but it is what it is. Here we go. Warriors beating the Suns 123-112. Their 8th straight home victory, of course. Clay with 38. He was 8 of 14 from the three. Steph finished with 23. Just looking ahead, their next 5 games are at the Clippers, at the Hawks, at the Grizzlies, at the Rockets, and at the Mavs. So, as we know, they've struggled very mightily on the road. Is anybody expecting anything to change in the next 5 games? Really, really quickly, Chandler.
I mean, I'd love to see them win 3 of those 5 games, but it's not easy. All those teams are capable. We saw what the Rockets did last night to the Celtics. So even the lower echelon teams, they're still capable of winning games. So this is going to be a huge test moving forward. We all know how good they are at home. This is a huge step for them. They want to make ground. They want to solidify themselves. They want to hit their momentum, go out there and win 3 or 4 of these games and have a good road trip.
It's crazy. They're just literally 2 different teams. As we get ready, Eddie, talk to me. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting them to be the Warriors, so they'll probably look amazing for 2 of these games and look like they're in open revolt against each other for 3 of them. And so we're just going to get the Warriors. And knowing them, it's going to be the Rockets game that they blow and look like they hate each other. And then they blow out the Mavericks or something. I can't keep up with this team, but you know, they're great at home. They need home court. They're great at home.
They're unbelievably great at home. It's literally 2 different teams, Shams. Look, postseason's right around the corner. Talk to me about what you think this X factor should be moving forward.
Yeah, I think the one interesting thing about this Warriors season is Steph Curry's missed two chunks of the season, right? You had the shoulder injury, and then you had the ligament injuries in his leg, and I think that those missed moments allowed Klay Thompson to really step up and him to get more of an opportunity, him to play more on the ball and get more shots. And I think that repetition has only helped him. We're seeing the way he's playing right now. 38 points last night, 8 3-pointers, 33 points just in the first half. And then he was really coasting the second half. They're 5-0 this year when Klay Thompson scores 35 or more. Those have all come, post that stretch where Steph Curry started missing games. So I think that has been the one critical thing is getting the Klay Thompson of old, the Klay Thompson that we all love. His averages are kind of back to where they've always been throughout his career. I think that's the one solace that you can take from this Warriors season is Klay Thompson starting to be that guy again.
Yeah, here's the problem. I wish I could sit here and pick the Suns defense apart. It's not even when the Warriors get going like this, nobody on the planet can guard them. When you look at the shots they're hitting last night, Klay's hitting shots off the dribble, step backs, coming off dribble handoffs, pin downs, screens. They can score and shoot off every scenario on the court, and there's really nothing you can do about it, especially when Klay has it going, especially when Jordan Poole and Steph, when those 3 guys have it going at the same time. It's damn near impossible to stop these guys. And this is why everybody fears them. This is why nobody wants to see them, because this is a tough out. You can play good defense sometimes, and they're going to play better offense. And they just have to be able to sustain it. They kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, and Phoenix had their chances to kind of come back in this game. But you could tell off the rip, this game was pretty much over in the first quarter, 43-21 in the first quarter. But the Suns won the second quarter 37-32, the third quarter 30-23, and then lost the fourth quarter by 1 point. So it was a great first quarter, but they have to do it for 48 minutes, and they have to find ways to do it on the road. But yeah, when Klay Thompson's going out there scoring 33, you could tell this was personal for him. All the stuff with Book, the hold up to 4 championships. Steph even said after the game, like this is when a team continues to beat you like the way they have with us, it is personal, and we do get up a little bit more. So this was a personal game for them, and they came out and basically ended the game in the first quarter.
Yeah, that first quarter deficit sometimes is impossible to overcome. And about Steph, he told CP3 after he hit a tough bucket, this ain't 2014. After the game, CP3 said, I don't know what happened in 2014. Eddie, why is Curry bullying young CP3?
I'm kind of, laughing at Steph becoming this guy now. Like, he's been a trash talker. Let me not make it like he wasn't before. But for whatever reason, he picked last night to say, 10 years ago, I smoked you. Like, I'm just like really confused. But that's the Warriors. They're old, they're grumpy, they're ornery, they're sick of. They feel like they're being underrated, even though we're calling them one of the best teams of all time and the dynasty of the NBA right now. And we're overlooking all of their flaws by saying just they're great, we don't care, they just won the title. And once they get Steph back, and nobody's calling Chris Paul better than Steph. I get, look, it's the Jordan thing. You put the chip on your shoulder even when the chip is imaginary, I guess. But yeah, 9 years ago, he was smoking Chris in 2014 too. He was dropping him for the world to see. So I guess if he wanted to get charged up for this game, but it's a little strange. It's a little strange. But I'm all for all trash talking, so I'm not gonna gatekeep the trash talk. Go for it, Steph. Do your thing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I also love it when your opponent is confused as to what it actually means. I think that's even funnier. Look, the big thing that was missing last night, Kevin Durant, obviously. It would have been much cooler to watch. He missed the game, still hasn't played in front of Warriors fans, which is crazy since leaving Golden State in 2018. Steve Kerr even said they've had a tribute video ready to go, whatever that might be, Chandler. Is this just coincidence? Are we just jinxed as fans? Like, what is it? Like, talk to me. We have not seen him play in front of that home crowd yet.
Yeah, I mean, there can't be anything here, right? The guy just sprained his ankle in layup drills. I don't think he personally, on purpose, did that to avoid playing the Warriors. It's a tough break because obviously they want to have a tribute for him. I'll tell you this, they still have that video, and I better hope it's not in the playoffs because that is not a good matchup if they have to see them with Kevin Durant in the playoffs. So we'll see if it comes to that, if they still play that video that they apparently have. But yeah, it sucks for the fans of the Warriors. It sucks for the staff. It's always fun going back to a former team that you played on just to see everybody from the staff, the coaches, the players, to the ushers in the arena. Like you develop a personal relationship with all these people. And it's just tough that Kevin, it's almost been 6 years now since he's been able to go back there and kind of get his flowers. And when he was the best player pretty much on that team when they won the championships with him. So it does. I think it's a coincidence. I don't think there's anything here. I don't think he's ducking them by any means. I just think it's a tough coincidence.
Also got hurt a week before. Also got hurt as a net this year, a week before he was set to play the Warriors. The only time he's played in Oracle as a visitor, it was the COVID season, no crowds, and he tore his hamstring. So I don't know that he's stuck in it. Just he can't make it happen. When the trade happened, that was one of the first two things I said. So, you finally get to play LeBron. Now LeBron's hurt. You finally get to go back to Golden State. Now Kevin's hurt. I don't know. The world is just weird. The basketball gods, they do what they do. It's strange, unfortunate, but I'm sure that video is incredible, and it's getting longer by the day, I'd guess. Yeah,
I wonder if they'll play that if they were to meet in the playoffs, because that just becomes very,
That's
very
what
weird.
I was thinking. How epic would that be? How weird would that be? You can't play that, right? Yeah.
You cannot give this dude any more motivation, or you can't. That's a regular season thing, because now if they play that and he goes have the great and he's feeling comfortable, he's feeling welcome back. There's no way they're playing that.
Well, hold on, Chandler. Let me counter here. What if they don't play the video and that's motivation?
It's like lose.
I think you still have to do that. Playoffs are a whole other animal. You cannot play a welcome back tribute to a guy that's trying to end your current season. No chance.
Oh, by the way, the whole idea of tribute videos is so stupid to me sometimes, but you know what? Here we are. It is fine. Look, let's talk Suns, because they also are in the hunt. Booker with 32, 8 and 27, 12 rebounds. Chandler, without KD, I mean, they made it this far, but without him moving forward, how vulnerable are they?
Yeah, they're super vulnerable. I mean, this team, it's tough because I want to see them with Kevin Durant more. He was special on the road in those games with him. I think they went undefeated with him in the lineup, and it's just a whole nother level of a team when you get him in the lineup. And last night, again, they had their chances. To get off to a first quarter start like that is tough. The game, like I said, was pretty much over, and they still, I think, cut it to like 5 or 3 points in the second half. Book got it going, kept him in the game. DeAndre Ayton had a big game, but then you look at no one else really did anything. and they're missing that third star, and they're playing off guys like Josh Okogie and Torrey Craig, and those guys, they're going to have to step up, because when Kevin Durant is out there, you can't really double team, but they're going to make that fifth guy, whoever on the court, whether it's Wainwright or Campaign or Damian Lee, any of these other guys, they're going to have to step up and at least take those shots with confidence. And last night, Okogie, Torrey Craig, the way they were guarding him, there was almost like a flaw. Like they have to take those shots. They have to be willing to miss those shots. But I mean, yeah, it was over in the first quarter. And again, they didn't play bad defense. Like some of those shots Klay was hitting, he got free a couple of times, but some of those shots, there's nothing really you could do. There's a saying, good defense, better offense. That happened about 75% of these looks that, Steph was hitting and Klay was hitting. Then Jordan Poole gets hot later in the game. That's why this team is different, and that's why this team is scary.
I'm moving on. Oh, there you go. Klay today. I like this Klay, and I hope he sticks around and we get him throughout the entire playoffs, however long that might be for that team. There was another game last night. It had a little spice to it. Bucks Kings. Who knew? Who knew going into this one that we'd have fireworks? But Giannis finished this thing with 46 and 12. Middleton with 31 and 9. They beat Sacramento 133-124. I mean, look, when Giannis and Middleton are rolling, Shams, how difficult is this team to beat?
I mean, you're finally starting to see Chris Middleton is back starting. He's playing at a really high level. Drew Holiday's been super dependent all year. They're all-star. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, they've kind of tried to not load management him at times, but you could tell they've been cautious with him coming back from injuries at different points. And there are other times where he just tries to play through it. Right after the All-Star break, he has a wrist injury. He plays in that game, even though he was listed doubtful, and then he messes up his quad, and then he misses a couple games. So there have been moments where it's gone either way. But Giannis, the way he's playing, the level he's playing at, over 45 points, over 10 rebounds last night. He's got as many 45-10 games this year than any player since Russell Westbrook, his MVP year in 2016-17. So he's playing at an elite level. And I wonder, I mean, I'm curious. We don't, we talk about Nikola Jokic, we talk about Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, but like Giannis's production and the way he's led this team to the #1 seed or competing for the #1 seed, even though there've been guys in and out. Why aren't we talking about Giannis for MVP more? I don't know. Is it because he already went back to back? I'm curious.
Great question.
Media bias.
It's crazy because this guy is single-handedly pretty much dominated this season. Chris Middleton hasn't been himself throughout, till basically right now. So it's a lot of been Giannis. Drew Holiday's had a great year. Lopez has had a great year. Portis was big early, but this is his team, and they are nowhere without Giannis. So it is interesting why this guy's not getting more love. I think it's not to take away anything Jokic and Embiid season, because those are also unbelievable seasons, and I think they're just doing a little bit more. But you're looking at the best team in the Eastern Conference and a guy with gaudy numbers, efficient, who's playing in a lot of the games, and whose second co-star, Chris Middleton, has basically been in and out of the lineup the whole time. Really impressive season by Giannis. And this game last night was incredible too, because I love what Sac showed. They came out early, going into halftime, third quarter. I thought Sac was going to win this game. They played hard. They got big games from their big guys. Kevin Huerter was great. And I think they took this personal, thinking that this is a team that we have to go through. If we are a real team, let's show the world, national TV, that we can hang with the big boys. It didn't end the way they wanted, but I think this is a pretty good showing for a team like the Kings. They're kind of on the rise.
I agree.
Yeah, well, I think with Giannis, he's just missed a little bit of time since the deadline. And this is a day-to-day conversation. We watched Joel Embiid make a game winner a few days ago, and it's like, we have to talk about that. We watched Jokic choke up against this same team, the Sacramento Kings. It's like, we have to talk about that. So I think it's just a little bit of proximity. But when he's on the court, he's probably the best player in the world. He's the most dominant player, and he's the most productive. He's 4th in the league in scoring. He's 3rd in the league in rebounds, and his team has the best record in the league. Don't forget that. And it didn't seem like they would a month ago when the Celtics were rolling, when the Nuggets were rolling. And these guys fought through it. He didn't have Chris Middleton for most of the season, and even when he had him, he was coming off the bench. And this looks like a team who won a championship 2 years ago. This looks like a team who could win a championship this year. Remember, they only lost in 7 games last year to the Celtics because they lost Chris Middleton in the middle of that series. They were always dangerous. They were always the favorite, and they still are yet again. They seem to be a better team now. Brook Lopez looks like a monster. even before the buzzer went off, and he looked like a monster in a whole other way. And Giannis just is incredible. He hits 2 of 2 from 3 yesterday, and he was 6 of 7 from the free throw line. When he's doing that, there's nothing you can do with this team. And then Chris Middleton looking like Chris Middleton late. He was the guy they went to in the half court when they attacked Sabonis and they won the game. This is a great team. This is the best team in the league, and he should be in the MVP running. You guys are right.
Well, he's right now third odds-on favorite to get the thing going. So look, there were some fireworks. I mean, look, if you live on Twitter, you saw them. Here we go. Take a look.
4 assists. And Lyles with Lopez. Lyles and Lopez going at it. Coach is getting involved. It spills into the scorer's table. And Lopez, he has been upset the entire second half.
Giannis just, you saw Giannis just go, meh, and walk away. This is what De'Aaron Fox said. Giannis could just dribble the ball out. That's all he had to do, and nothing would have happened. I've watched it a few times, Chandler. What did you see? Did you see what they saw?
I mean, I got to see the clip from when they inbounded the ball. I guess he could have stopped at like right after half court and kind of went up in the corner there. He kind of got, I guess, close-ish to the 3-point line, but he was going to go score. Look at him. He's just walking. He's dribbling the ball out. I don't see anything here. I get the frustration. They were in this game. They let it go there. But again, this is exactly what you need your big guy to do. Brook Lopez adds a lot of value with his defense, his shot blocking, his shooting. He needs to do this 10 times out of 10. You don't push our star. You don't push the best player in the NBA. You don't push our MVP without consequences. And he did exactly what he needed to do. And I praise him for that. And Lyles, I mean, again, does it look like Giannis is attacking the basket right here?
Right?
I don't really get it. Maybe there's something led up to this before, but it looks like he's pretty much kind of looping back around and dribbling out to the corner of the out of bounds line over there. So I don't see anything different here.
Nope.
Trey
Eddie,
Lyles
did you see
saw
it?
the Wizards game.
Okay.
He saw the Wizards game. He knows Giannis's resume. No, look, he's upset he lost. Let's be honest about it. He's
Fair.
upset about the loss, and it was a tough loss. But to take a hack at a guy who was just trying to dribble around you is weird. And he got what he deserved. But clearly he was on edge because as soon as Brook Lopez came up to him, whatever Brook Lopez said, he went right to the mush and it went from there. And look, I like seeing the scrappiness from the Kings. I like seeing them care that much. But yeah, he was doing a lot there. And you can't push around their 2-time MVP, maybe 3-time MVP. Brook is doing exactly what he should do as the enforcer of that team. And I don't know, Trey Lyles is going to pay for that with his pockets and a game probably. Yeah, he's going to earn that one.
Yeah, let's talk a little Brook Lopez. Having been around for his rookie season, he's just all grown up. He was bleeding. I don't know if that gets him points in anybody's tough categories, but I mean, that's some WWE stuff right there. He looks tough. I don't hate it. I kind of love it.
He's
Look,
a massive
it's perfect
human
timing. Yeah, he is a massive human being. It's weird to see him angry, like he was enraged.
Yeah, he's fun to watch though, and when he's drilling threes from like 30 feet away, it just feels like that team is unstoppable. He's a monster in the paint, and I've said for some time this season, he's what makes their defense click. The way he's able to protect the paint and just stave off every drive. I watched the Kings last night try to pound the paint. I watched Domantas Sabonis struggle with a big fella for like the 3rd time this season because he's so big, his arms are so long, and he doesn't just get jumpy. He stays in there, he stays big, and he completely transforms their defense. And when he's hitting threes like he was, there's not much you can do on offense.
No, I do like him all fired up like that. It's perfect timing in the season. Look, the Kings, we kept waiting all season long. Like, is this a fluke? Is it a fluke? Is it a fluke? No, they're sitting in 3rd. Sabonis last night with 23, 17, and 15. Nice. They're 40 and 27. Chandler, I know people want to sort of write them off as we get closer and closer to the postseason. But as far as their ability to win a first-round series, especially with home court advantage, how confident are you?
Yeah, well, it's definitely not a fluke. They've had a great season, and they are a very good team. You can see they hung with arguably the best team in the NBA last night, all night long, and they can win a game. It's just going to come down to the matchup with them, and I think their goal is to be able to get to that 2nd seed and obviously play a lesser team, being that 2 seed. Because if you get to the 3rd seed and they have to play Golden State or the Clippers first round, I don't think anyone else is really an issue. I think they beat the Timberwolves, they beat the Mavs, they beat the Lakers, they beat New Orleans. And they're going to be fun series, but you get a 3-6 matchup with, Kings, Warriors, Kings, Clippers. That's where I think it starts getting dicey for this team, but it's not going to be a cakewalk. They are not going to be an easy out. They are not going to just lay down. That arena is going to be absolutely bonkers. And those young kids are going to be excited to play in the playoffs for the first time, and for their city and for the Kings to be back there. It's going to mean a lot more in a first round series to the Sacramento Kings than it is to any other team they face. But it all comes down to matchups, because I do think Warriors and the Clippers, when they are healthy, they're a better team and they have more experience and they're deeper. But just we got to see who they draw.
Defend them,
Yeah,
Eddie.
it's tough. Last night you watch them, you see the warts. The Bucks shot 58% from the floor last night, shot 45% from three. They're coached up. You can see they have the right ideas on defense. I tag the roller here. I X out to close out there. I do this, I do that. They're just a steps too slow. It seems like they're not very athletic, which is kind of funny when you watch them and you think of De'Aaron Fox and how fast he is. They're always going to be defensive liabilities almost by personnel alone. So that right there is going to hold them back. As much as they looked good yesterday hanging with the Bucks, they also got outclassed late, gave up 80 points in the second half. You could see the difference in tier of teams. So, yes, they need the right matchup. And honestly, I don't think they're going to get it when you look at the bottom of that standings. They're going to end up with the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers, somebody they don't want to see. So, frustrating. Maybe they get a game or two, but it's going to be dope to see that environment and have home playoff games for the Kings again for the first time in 16 years.
I feel like I wanted you to be a little bit stronger in their ability to just crush whoever in the first round, but I will go ahead and accept whatever that was. Moving on, Grizzlies, Mavs. Dude, Dallas, what are you doing? Look, no Luka, no Kyrie, that's fine. But this was a blowout with the Grizzlies, 104-88. Desmond Bane finished with 23. The Mavs are now below 500 and in the 8th spot, Chandler. Okay, it's panic time, right?
It's not good. And last night was a nightmare situation. You got Dylan Brooks blowing kisses. You're getting a blowout, and your best two players are sitting there on the shelf and can't really do anything about it. And you look at what they did last night. Jaden Hardy, I guess you could look at it and say Harden and Green, they played good. These are our young guys going forward, but they're not anymore in a moving forward kind of season. They are in a win now. They scored 88 points last night. You're not beating anybody, let alone the Grizzlies. I don't care if John Morant is in the lineup or out of the lineup. You got to find ways to score the basketball. And especially when you play defense like them, you have to score a lot of points. But this is a panic mode. I think, I think Luka's coming back soon. There was talks he was coming back last night. But with Luka and Kyrie out and them dwindling away, I think they're a half game out of the play-in. This is a dangerous time for them, and it's Luka's got to get back out there. But I've been in these games before where it's when it rains, it pours, and then they're all talking. Dylan Brooks has now somehow created another rival with Luka talking trash that he's sitting out because he's not ready to come back to a physical game. This is just a frustrating night for Dallas, and they got to get Kyrie Irving and Luka back ASAP to have any sort of chance.
Oof, not good. Eddie.
Looking ahead at their schedule, there's some winnable games. They do play the Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors in 3 straight games, but they also got the Spurs, the Hornets twice, the Pacers. So, they have a chance, but they got to get healthy, they got to stay healthy, and they got to be on the floor. We've seen them look dangerous in the last week, and then we've seen them look how they looked yesterday. So, yeah, without Luka, they have no shot. Without Luka and Kyrie, they really have no shot. And that's exactly what we got last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult position for them to be in, right? They've lost a lot more than Brooklyn has ever since that Kyrie Irving trade. We talked about it yesterday, and I think when you look at this team, they need Kyrie Irving, they need Luka Doncic in the lineup. If they're not playing, this team is just going to have a difficult time winning games. And it has a lot of Brooklyn vibes of last year to me, in that both of those guys have to be in the lineup. They both have to be playing at an exceptional level, and anytime one of them has an off night, it makes it susceptible for them to lose games. And I think they don't have a great balance of a roster right now. And I'm curious, Chandler's perspective, he's played de facto GM for the Mavericks before. Like, what do you do if you're them and you're going into a team you know you're missing probably a piece or two? How do you address it in the summer? Like, what's your mindset right now, and how do you kind of wait and bide time until you get to the summer?
I mean, you got to re-sign Kyrie Irving if you're me. You can't give all that up for a 3-month rental of this guy. And he's so talented. He's played well in the games he's played. They haven't won as much as they want, but listen, you got to find a way to get him. And then there's contracts that they don't like. They got Bertans taking up a lot of money. Tim Hardaway Jr. makes a lot of money. There's some contracts here that aren't really team friendly. They find a way to get off them. They keep grooming these young guys. I love Josh Green. I love Jaden Hardy. But you have to maximize these Luka Doncic years, and you did that with Kyrie Irving. Now you lock it up. You keep growing these young guys. You add a couple more players, and even this year, trust me, they are not panicking. They have Luka. They think they have the best player in the NBA, and no one wants to play them in the playoffs, which is kind of partially true. But they don't really defend, and they're not exactly as scary as the Warriors in the first round. But they think they have enough this year to survive and to advance. And if they're healthy, I agree with them. I think these two guys are great. They got to find a way to defend more and kind of have more defensive presence. They lack size, they lack depth, but they do have enough offensive power to, I think, win a series in the playoffs.
Look, we got to talk Ja. It's that time of the day. He's still obviously out. Grizzlies with a great win without him, Shams. But what is the latest on Mr. Morant?
Ja Morant has been receiving counseling in Florida for the last week, I'm told, and so it's unclear when he's going to be back. He's essentially been serving a de facto 6-game suspension, and that'll end here in the next few days. But, I'm told that the Grizzlies' expectation is that he's going to be out still for the foreseeable future. There's still the NBA investigation that's still ongoing. The Grizzlies have said that they are balancing trying to hold Ja Morant accountable versus also supporting him and understanding that he needs to go get help. I think the league also needs to finish their investigation. One investigation that is over, Michelle, is the Colorado police investigation. That was essentially dropped last week. They could not find evidence, circumstantial or not, that showed that there was a gun there, that he was intoxicated there. So that investigation is over. So now you really just have the NBA investigation and how Ja Morant will deal with this counseling and get the help that he needs. But you look at the standings, we were just talking about the Kings. They're 1 game out of the 2nd seed. So that is something to keep an eye on. Will the Grizzlies lose ground on that 2 seed, lose that 2 seed potentially to Sacramento? And another thing, will Ja Morant get voted to the All-NBA team this year due to this chunk of time that he's going to miss post-All-Star break? That could cost him upwards of $30 million if he's not on the All-NBA team. So just a couple factors to think about given this time off.
30? 3-0? Oof. That hurts. Left half
Over
of that
30,
on the strip club
Michelle.
floor.
Over 30.
Yeah, no, that one hurts. Look, this does not sound like he's coming back anytime soon, if I was to speculate, all right? So, Chandler, moving forward, you saw the standings. You know how much time we have left on the calendar. What are you thinking for this Grizzlies squad?
Well, first of all, counseling program, I don't know if they're just trying to keep it vague as possible. The guy's in rehab, and I'm assuming it's for alcohol. And I think the team is just trying to keep it as vague as possible, but he's not coming back anytime soon. This is a real concern. It's a real issue in that organization. And people close to him know that he's got real problems, that he is now seeking real help from professional people, which is great news. That being said, this isn't like a weekend stay. This isn't a retreat. This is going to, I think, take some time, and it's going to be a collective effort moving forward for the Grizzlies. You basically go the rest of the season thinking Tyus Jones is your starting point guard, and they got to just continue this identity of being tough, of being gritty, of defending. They got to find ways to put Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane in positions to be more efficient. Because when you got Dillon Brooks going 4 for 17 and Bane going 3 for 11 from 3, that's only going to hurt their team. Jaren Jackson is their most solid player going forward. Tyus Jones has been great in the starting role. They still have the depth, the toughness to kind of compete. But who are we kidding? This team is not very good without Ja Morant, and they're going to struggle. And I think, again, they just need to continue to try and stay afloat, win as many games. Hopefully, Ja can come back sooner than later, and then they have a chance in the playoffs. But it's tough without him. He's the heart and soul of their team. He's their leader. He's their best player, and it's not even close. So they need this dude back. But it's good news that he's down in Florida getting help.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Shams with the latest on the league's attempt to curb load management. The dentist upstairs might make an appearance, and Run It Back returns.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up.
I think at an early age, you guys identified the NBA, right?
Yeah.
You guys some type of a dream board at like 9 years old where you guys like you guys want to be not just NBA players but one of the best NBA players. Where do you think that started? Where do you think that desire for the NBA and being one of the best players of all time came from?
It started with our family. Like, they're always supportive of our dreams. Always told us to shoot like higher, manifest things. So that's why we did the dream board, to manifest it. And, it's going well so far.
It's going well so far. Shams, what about these Thompson twins excites teams in the league?
Well, on the court, they're both going to be projected to be top 10 picks in this year's NBA draft. So that, from a talent perspective, athletically, the gifts that they have, just the 6'8", 6'9", being able to be multi-position, guard multiple positions. And, I think the one thing that teams are looking at is how can they improve their shooting. But other than that, they've got everything else: athleticism, basketball IQ. And they're really old school guys. As teams go in and do their research on them, they get nothing but positive feedback. They're old school. They literally just got new iPhones. They still use wired headphones. They really keep to themselves, stay a lot in the gym. They don't have much of a life outside of playing video games and playing basketball. So these are two kids that are pretty locked in to the task at hand, which in the next few months will be the NBA draft, and potentially both going in the top 5 to 10 come June.
Wait, did they on their dream board, did they write 6'9", like they're hoping to get 6'9"? Is that what I saw? Because that's amazing. Good for them. They called it.
Impressive.
Right? Like
I'm happy somebody said it.
That's amazing.
Shout out to the camo foam posits on there as well. Good job, fellas.
Man, that's
Eat
right.
vitamins.
That's right.
Bags.
500 cat raises. That's where I blew it.
That's just where Chandler dropped off. That's amazing. I love that. So the vitamins kill me. Okay, that
daily there. Jesus.
Yeah, that's a lot between the two. Okay, that's fine. All right. I know there was some big league news, Shams. I saw you tweeting about yesterday between the league and the union. What's going on there?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So the league and the NBPA, they met on Friday and they continued discussions, and they are getting close on reaching agreement on a rule that essentially would have a minimum games played requirement for the major awards. So you talk about MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. This would set a threshold for how many games players would have to play to be able to qualify. We'll see if that extends to all-star games and whatnot. But as of right now, the sides are basically in agreement that load management, player availability, this is a major issue for the league. They need to get on the same page. I'm told what is curious, the NBPA is the one that reached out to the league and wanted to set up this call and discuss player availability. CJ McCollum, Chris Paul, two players that spoke out on the call and spoke out about how it's not always on the players for why load management or player sitting occurs. Some of it falls on the team and their organizational goals. We know some teams want to tank, some teams want to get lottery ball, some teams want to manage 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 6 nights, and also trying to preserve players for the second half of seasons, for the playoffs. So there is an agreement on trying to figure this out, and I think one thing that we're going to see implemented in the new CBA is having this games played, requirement. But I'm curious from Chandler's perspective, how often did you get it from teams trying to load manage you? I mean, was that even a thing when you were in your prime in Houston, Dallas? Like, where do you see this?
Yeah, it really started for me in Dallas and Memphis, and it's usually guys that are on a big salary, on a big contract. And I got to be honest with you, it's 80-90% of the team that's withholding the player. Sure, a player can come in and say, hey, I'm sore today, or I'm swollen today, or, anytime you see back spasms, by the way, guys are just full of shit. They don't want to play that night. But for the most part, it's the team protecting their assets, right? And if I'm on a 4-year, $100 million deal, why risk swelling in my knee in December? They're gonna shut you down. They're gonna take you out of practice earlier. You wear monitors in practice. When I was playing, it's called a catapult. Or it would measure your load management. It would measure your reps. It would measure your steps. And when I hit a certain mark during practice, no matter if I felt great, if I felt horrible, I was done once I hit that number, whatever it was that day. So it's definitely, the dentist is back, Michelle, by the way.
I know, he's really working today.
So it's a lot, but I do like this rule because it kind of leaves no questions on whether if a player deserves it, if a player's in it. If John Morant now misses 25 games and he doesn't meet the deadline of being able to qualify for the award, there's no more questions. There's no more. So I really like it, and it kind of it gives guys an advantage of, or they have to play. They have to reach this number of games. So I do think it will help that point where a guy will be like, no, I'm playing. I need 3 more games to qualify for MVP, which gives me $5 million bonus with Adidas. I'm playing this game. So I think it could help.
Yeah, it checks out with all of the things that you guys have said as well, Shams, Chandler. I love that CJ and Chris Paul are kind of at the forefront of this. Players have kind of got a lot more open about saying, hey, it's not me, it's the team. Well, they've borrowed the brunt of the load management kind of bad PR. They're finally stepping up and saying, no, I actually want to play. It's exactly what Chandler's saying. Like, I'm getting pulled from this. I'm getting told these minutes restrictions. You got Paul George in the middle of an overtime game. Like, I can't play now? Like, what? I've watched it happen with Kevin. And, I've texted him at the Bulls game because he watched the final 4 minutes of the half and they gave up the lead. I'm like, I know you're pissed. And it just hit me back with an LOL, like, bruh. So I've seen it happen from close. I've seen it happen from afar. I'm not surprised the players are biting back. The thing I don't understand, though, is if you're saying this about awards, it's kind of already implied. Like, we're not giving MVP to a guy who played 60 games. In the same way, you can't be the league leader in scoring if you only played 50. So it's kind of implied. I guess it's PR in a sense. But I'm with Chandler. There's going to be guys on that threshold going, yo, I got to get my 70 in or this and that. So it's a good move. It's a little bit of kind of shadow nothingness to it, too. But I like that they're taking onus and saying, yo, we actually want to play, and we're putting our money where our mouths are.
I like it too. They're doing something. That's all we can ask, right? Shams, thank you. As always, we'll talk again tomorrow morning. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and I might go upstairs and murder someone. We'll find out when Run It Back returns.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, 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 run it.
FanDuel Casino's March Weekly Super Sweeps is here, and you can win a share of $300,000 each week from March 14th through April 2nd. Every Tuesday through Saturday, opt in, and any bet of $200 or more gets you an entry to the Sunday's sweepstakes drawing. See FanDuel Casino for more details on how you can enter the March Weekly Super Sweeps. Okay. Do we want to talk about what's going on with the Celtics? Look, Rockets are a fun team to watch. No one's taking that away from them. They beat Boston 111-109. Jalen Green 28, Jabari Smith 24. Jaylen Brown did have 43 in the losing effort. Tatum finished with 22. But the Celtics have lost 4 of their last 6. And our own Eddie G, the philosopher, was on Twitter last night with the question, are the Celtics bored or broken? I mean, Eddie, did you figure it out? Where'd you land?
I'm still going with bored. Because I don't know how they lost this game. The Rockets tried their hardest to complete the tank win, which is like a game where you look good, you have fun, the crowd cheers, and then you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory late in that game. They did their damnedest to blow that game, and then Jason Tatum missed the layup. I don't know what is going on over there. They look bored, but they have all of the ingredients to be a great playoff team. But I did kind of squint a little bit because, look, they beat the Heat barely by a shot in Game 7. They beat the Bucks barely in 7 games. They blew them out in Game 7, but it took 7 games to beat the Bucks with no Chris Middleton. So I squinted a little bit last night. It was like, are they that great? And I don't know. We're going to find out in about a month. But that's a really, really, really bad loss to a team who was trying really hard to lose more.
Chandler.
Yeah. They've done this before, right? They've lost to the Magic. They have kind of a distant pattern of losing to bad teams. And again, are they bored? I don't think NBA teams get this bored to be losing games like this. And this is not the time of the season that you want to fall off. You want to be on the rise right now. And I think the biggest concern to them is when you look around the league, the Bucks and the Sixers are going like this, right? They're playing very well. They're getting better every single game. And that's what's concerning to Boston right now. There's only a month or so left, and they're kind of going backwards, and everyone else is trending upwards. So, listen, I think they'll figure it out. I think they have a great team. They still had some bright spots last night. Jason Tatum did have a look at the end of the game there. But it shouldn't be in a situation like that. This game should be over in the fourth quarter. These guys should be resting. These are the games that mature teams put away early and not even let it get to this, because I don't care how bad you are, how young you are, how much you're tanking. These kids are still talented. They're still going to come up with some plays. And it bit them last night, and they got a horrific loss.
Yeah, this Rockets team is, I mean, they've shocked a couple times this season, but at this time of the year, yeah, I think you guys are right. It's all about who's peaking now, and Boston seems to be having some issues. You guys want to have some fun and mock some people? Yes, it's time for that. Man has a family, and there's some good ones. These are from games this week. Not everything is from yesterday. Keep that in mind because some of it's just, they've been great moments. And Kawhi Leonard, this almost seems seems kind of personal because Kawhi over Jakob Poeltl, and that was the trade, yada, yada, yada. But good Lord.
I just love that he's back. Like, he is fully back. He is strong. He is in shape. He's healthy. And it's only right that we start this segment off with a white guy getting absolutely postered.
Wow. Controversial.
Don't miss Kawhi going with the Karl Malone knee in the gut in the balls as well for the dunk. Don't miss that. Like, he definitely knew exactly what he was doing here. And Jakob Poeltl has got to be on the most posters of this year. I had to look it up. He's averaging almost 2 blocks a game, so congrats. But he's got to be averaging like a poster a game too.
That honestly could have been offensive though with that knee there. If you would have, I guarantee you, if he fell down there, they call a foul.
Well, he should have fallen then. Jaden Hardy on Jackson Hayes.
This kid's got game. He can do it all. This kid.
That's on a leaper.
Nice.
That's a gigantic headband though. Like, where did you pick that up from, my guy? You got that from Braun? That thing's like a wave cap. What is that?
It almost looks like a head bandage.
Dunk,
like from a war.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
It's a little bit much. Or maybe he just has a small head. I mean, who am I to know? I don't know. Josh Okogie over Malik Monk. Okay.
Oof.
Okay. Oh, hate it.
Nice hang time there.
Yeah, you really see a guard on guard poster like this in the half court.
I almost thought it was like the super layup, and until I seen the replay and he grabbed the rim, I was like, all right, I'll count that one. That's a good one. Good job, Josh.
I mean, yeah. I like that one, actually.
He's kind of like their fifth. Once KD comes, Eddie, he's their fifth guy, pretty much, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's gonna be starting. It's about if he can make the shots.
Whew, okay. This one got spicy. Michael Porter Jr. over Zach Collins, and then there was a fight. There was a strangle motion. There was an ejection. What are you gonna do? Ooh, he went right after.
Big win for the Spurs.
That was a big win for the Spurs
out there.
Yeah, that one shocked me. I watched that one.
Zach Collins. I said on Twitter, he looks like the villain from like a sports movie. Like, you know, the inner city team plays against him in the suburbs, and he acts exactly how he looks. Like, he just looks like the worst guy ever. Like,
because he has the hair.
He's annoying.
He's
not annoying.
He's got the American Psycho haircut there, where he's
that's not like.
Yeah.
He's leaning into it at this point with that haircut. Like, he knows what we think of him, and he's like, you know what? I am that guy.
I am that man.
I'm fighting somebody who dunks
and then he wears
on me.
He'll wear the glasses sometimes. I'm like, oh, that is a little bit American Psycho. I like it. Clint Capella. Oh, here you go, Eddie. Merry Christmas early.
Floor is yours, Eddie.
What are you doing, big fella? You're not out here.
I love it.
I
This is one of the first times I've heard the name Clint Capella this year.
Right? I was just thinking that. I mean, I've seen him, but not really talked about him.
I was watching the Hawks. Was watching the Hawks get obliterated and save our parlay yesterday, and I just thought to myself, like, are they supposed to be this bad? Because they're awful.
I mean, it's not. It's Here you go, Anthony Edwards. Palate cleanser.
I like how it says on the Hawks, not like on somebody. He dunked on the whole arena right here. It was so aggressive.
On their spirit. Yeah, you just crushed everybody. God, he's fun. He is
has
fun.
Every tool. I love Anthony Edwards.
I know you do, buddy. I know you. You're torn. Got one guy you don't like, one guy you love on the same team. What are you going to do? Taking a quick break right now, and guess what? We hit our parlay. We're going to brag about it when we return.
Run it back, run it up, 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 run it back, run it up.
Take a shot on college hoops with an assist from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers bet the bracket and get 10 times your first bet in bonus bets. That's up to $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. With FanDuel, you can bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to which team will score first. So join today and get up to $200 in bonus bets when you place your first bet guaranteed. Make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, speaking of March Madness, we each filled out our tournament brackets. They're all probably going to be perfect. So why don't we start with Eddie? We're going to start with the Elite Eight, buddy. Why don't you explain it to us?
I just threw like ping pong balls, shook them up, pulled them out, and I ended up with Bama, who is unfortunately in the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, go Bama.
It's a little chalky. But you do have Texas in the championship game. Okay. All right, Chandler, talk us through it.
Yeah, I also went with Alabama. I think Nate Oates is the best coach in college basketball. They have the freshman who I honestly think might get drafted second above Scoot. But Kansas State is, if it wasn't Alabama, I'm pulling for Kansas State. Remember Keontae Johnson, the kid that played on Florida that collapsed and basically fell on his face? He's Kansas State's best player, and I thought the dude was done. I thought he was never going to play again, and he's absolutely balling. So I kind of hope they win it all. Houston's been the best team all year long, and Gonzaga has like 28-year-old Drew Timme. So I think I got a solid Final Four here. I think the SEC and Bama gets it done.
Man, I don't want that. And I specifically did not have that for that reason. Look, I would just like to preface this with I did not mean to have an all Texas final. If anybody knows me knows I would definitely not do that on purpose with my feelings towards all the world. However, that being said, I did try to do personal reasons for each one, whether it be former players that played for schools. In this particular case, Jeremy Sohan, number 10 for the Spurs right now, did go to Baylor. And if that's not a good enough reason to have them winning it all, I really don't know what is, guys. You're welcome. Yeah, I just didn't want Alabama. All right, so we did it. We pulled off what I thought was the impossible last night. We actually got the parlay. So we were so excited that Eddie texted us after midnight to tell us that we did it, guys. How are we feeling?
East Coast time. It wasn't that late.
We dominated this parlay. There was never even a doubt.
Dominate. Okay, settle down. Now we're getting cocky. Actually, you can. I cannot. I'm just sort of easing back in here. And today is a brand new day, and we're gonna try it again. Eddie, what do you got?
Well, you stole my pick, so I had to shuffle, and I had to go back to my old ways. Old habits die hard. I picked the Nets in OKC, taking the point. I think they're just a better team. They looked really great the other night against Denver, which probably means they put up a stinker because they're bored as hell in Oklahoma City. But, yeah, I went with the Nets and Mikal Bridges, young KD out there. I think they beat him outright.
Okay, see? I stole yours, but this is pretty good, I think. Chandler?
Yeah.
Yes, well, I have the Nuggets +1. I'm assuming somebody's out. I'm assuming Jokic or Murray, somebody's out. Because how are they an underdog against the Toronto Raptors? I know they've been on a skid. They haven't been playing great, but give me the best team in the West against one of the worst teams in the East all day long, getting points.
Yeah, something's got to be going on there. I actually had to switch mine, Eddie, at the last minute because what was originally a Lakers +1 shifted to a -1. So I took the Pelicans in this one.
Oh, which would have just took the Lakers -1.
You know 100% I will get it wrong. And
you can only win a game. You can only win a game by a point, Beadle. You could have stuck with it. I think, might have liked your odds better, but
guys, why do you do this to me? Why? I killed a man upstairs to make
Lakers
the noise
bias.
stop. I think I've done enough for one show today. All right, who wants to share their evening last night before we go? Eddie, did you do anything fun?
My dog got really scared of his cage, and I'd chase him around my house. It was really weird. I was scared, but he's all right. He's snoring now. He doesn't care anymore.
You see that, people? Television lives. They're as sexy as you thought they'd be behind the scenes.
Exciting night, yeah.
I feel like we're just going to ask Chandler for now, because Chandler lives 1,000 lives in one single day. But that is going to do it for us.
Ask him next
Wednesday.
time.
I know. Well, I can't ask him every time. We will be back tomorrow, as Wednesday is our Friday, and that's just a little something to think about. Enjoy your Tuesday evenings, everybody.
Run it up. the running back, yeah, yeah. Run it up, run it back like a running back.